Hey, what's up? This is Dilio coming to another video, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the topic of is today's music any better? So let's go right into it. This is a part of a series, so if you got a topic or a question you want me to talk about, please feel free to let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you'd like to. All right, let's dive right into it. This is a shout out or a question that was posted by T Houston 228 on another video, and the topic he said was, "Do you think today's music feel good or only sounds good?" And I think that that's a very good question because everybody likes music that makes them feel good, and everybody likes music that makes it sound good. And I think that if I were to give you an example of today's music, I think today's music does feel good and does sound good. And because I say that, here's the thing. The reason I say that is because at any time in the world, there's always somebody learning something new or hearing a new song that they'd never heard before. They'd never heard of the artist before, and for some reason, that music, that song hits different. I can think of many times over the recent years where I heard a song for the first time, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what I'm talking about," And it's very easy to become sort of jaded and think that no more good music is coming out. You know, the saying like as people get older, as I go get over, oh, music ain't good anymore. It ain't like even I've made comments about trap music and stuff like that. Like, oh man, everybody likes trap. But the thing is that there was a time when I was coming up, when I was a teenager, where I was just sort of like really into music and it was all new and it was like on repeat and you had to listen to it over and over again, even before teenager, even middle school, when I really started to get aware of what songs are. And, if I could look back, one thing I wish I did better back then is develop some sort of skill set on how to figure out who produced stuff and what the names. Because like I know songs better than I know song titles, but that's not always the case. But the thing is that a lot of music today sounds really good and feels good, and it obviously depends on the person. So if I were to say for myself, I think a lot of great music is good and feeling good today, and I try my best to embrace it as much as I can because I think when you start to reject a lot of today's music and don't really try it on and hear it and stuff like that, you could be locking yourself or dating yourself. You want to stay on top of what the trends are and what's fresh and what's new and what's original. So you don't want to keep your mind closed on today's music and things like that. Now, I will say that there have been times where I've been tired of it and I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means I don't like it. You got to think about it. I mean, they're kids now. They're individual. I mean, just think back of when you were a child and you were hearing a certain song. Like I remember growing up in middle school, like one of my favorite songs was like "Summertime" by Fresh Prince or Scatman. Like I remember back in middle school, and we had this French teacher, and see, I was exposed to a lot of music that a lot of people weren't really exposed to in my demographic and age at that time. So for me, I was sort of an outlier, and it was difficult for me to share that I listened to this music to other people because it was called white music. I mean, that was just how it was back then. So, oh, that's white people music. Unfortunately, that was said in the household and in middle school. I'm not going front. Let's just talk about it. But I liked it. And my storyline is that I had a cousin that exposed me to music, and it wasn't even like devil worshiping music. It was just music from a different genre that I embraced and I was open to because it made me feel good. It was fun. It was something different. But at the same time, coming up as a kid, I also felt ostracized because if as I look around, we didn't listen to that. We didn't, and it was tough. It was sort of a tough thing, but the music made me feel good. It took me out of my little problems as a teenager, as a child. It helped me to enjoy something. It helped me learn about music production. It helped me learn skills that today I now monetize because of that. And so just think about it. There are kids now who are growing up, and I see this, who are hearing songs for the first time and are experiencing that same thing that I experienced to where, yo, just give me that one song. The kids are saying, just give me that one song. I'll enjoy that. Give me that one song. I'll listen to that over and over again. And it's enough. And that is something I miss. I miss that feeling. And as you get older and more experienced, you're less surprised and shocked by anything, and so now it's more important to really, for lack of a better term, be able to enjoy music with someone else, because at least that provides you a new experience with that individual, or going to a show and seeing other people enjoy music. It's almost like, for me, for any music to really feel good at this point, it's about seeing other people enjoy it. Once you got two phases. You got the enjoyment of creating it, and then you got the enjoyment of sharing it with others. Going back to high school, I remember sharing tapes with some of my friends of some beats that I made, and them listening to it and enjoying it. And that felt good. That felt good. Oh wow! And then for them to actually memorize some of the lyrics to your songs, come on, you know. And so sonically, we're more sonically advanced than ever before. We have all this processing to make it sound great, and I don't feel like we lose anything, because if you think about it, back in the '70s, or even the '80s and '90s, when samplers were being introduced, people thought that was, oh, we're losing something because we're not having live musicians. And even before that, even I can remember, like, as I understand it, gospel music wasn't always today's gospel music. Gospel music, uh, for a long time, was basically something like blues, and even today still sounds something like blues. And how it sounded like devil worship at first, and then it became good. But if you listen to gospel music by those who I seem to be the most conservative that I've seen on YouTube, it's blues music. So what were we doing before that? Were we doing Gregorian chants and stuff like that, and holding our hands as a all righty then? What were we doing? You know, but here's the interesting thing. If I were to talk about the blurred lines between gospel music and R&B music, is that a lot of the talent that we have today came from church, and then church takes what has been invented and reinvented out in the world, and then converts it right back into gospel music. That's why we have holy hip hop, you know, because it's that same cycle. There's so much of overlapping. So yeah, today's music does feel good. It does sound better, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that older music doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound better. I think it's all good, and depending on where you're at in life and how calm things are, how rough things are, is where you're able to receive this music and hear this music and enjoy this music and share this music. And I think that's a very important thing to consider with everything that's going on right now. There's music to take your mind off. There's music that sounds stupid. Look, they want to rage, like this Travis Scott rage stuff, right? There are kids who just want to rage, and I can remember wanting to feel that wildness, that rambunctiousness, that just like that rah, you want to take that energy, you want to do something with it, you want to have fun and enjoy it. And that feels good and that sounded good. But there's also songs like, think about the Soldier Boy, Crank That Soldier Boy, right? When I first heard that song, I was like, is this serious? Because it was so simple. It's like, wow, is this mixed? But here's the thing. Millions of people didn't care. Millions of people didn't care because the song made them feel good. The song made them feel good. You had kids doing the dance. You wanted to be part of that dance, and that's what made it, not the mix. And I get, even me coming from Full Sail, a lot of people who are in school now, a lot of young people, and I get that because I was there. You learn about plugins, you know how that works. Now you're trying to, let me get this plugin, let me get that plugin, and put this plugin right here. So it's not going to sound right unless I got all these plugins. And then after a while, you learn, like, all you need is a few things, like a dope mic, a processor. Now, albeit that's a price difference. There is sacrifice in price between getting a voice processor and getting the microphone and getting some software versus um, starting out. And then as you keep going, it's like, yo, you don't even need all that. You just need like a nice booth, a good mic preamp, some tracks, and put that stuff out. Because at the end of the day, if you're coming from a creative standpoint and you're trying to share your music with the world versus film and sing, because that's a whole nother thing, it doesn't matter. So yeah, today's music feels good and sounds good. I know that's not the question you asked, and so If you were me to give you a linear answer, because I know people don't like to do that, and I'm going to break that mold. Um, I'm going to say it only sounds good. If I were to give you a direct answer, people don't give direct answers anymore. That's just how we are. But I'm gonna give you a direct answer. I gave you my long answer. My long answer is it does feel and sound good. But if you want me to pick one, I'm gonna say it only sounds good. But I hope that helps. If you like this type of stuff, let me know in the comments below. If you got a question or topic you'd like me to address, post it down below. We're gonna keep this moving. This is episode 5 of the Gratitude series. See y'all next morning. I'm out.